Hello, my magnificent and powerful Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for ascending to the highest truth of who you are. I am your guide, and if these words have found their way to you at this very moment in time, I want you to feel deep within the royal chambers of your heart that this is no accident. This is a divine appointment. Pause with me for a moment, beautiful star. Before we journey into the heart of this message, I invite you to find a space where you can be undisturbed. Take a deep sovereign breath in, filling your lungs with the golden light of your own magnificent essence. Hold it for a count of 3, feeling the power that has always been yours. And then exhale, slowly releasing every shadow, every doubt, every whisper that has ever tried to dim your shine. Let your shoulders fall. Let your heart, that brilliant sun that was born to warm the world, reclaim its center. Because the universe, in its infinite and perfect wisdom, has brought you here to receive a truth so profound, it will not only heal your wounds, but restore you to your throne. Leo, you were born with the sun in your soul. Your spirit was forged in celestial fire, and your purpose is to shine, to lead to love, with a generosity that leaves the world in awe. But perhaps lately, that light has felt heavy. Perhaps you have given your warmth to those who left you in the cold. You have offered your unwavering loyalty to those who repaid you with betrayal. You have roared with courage for others, only to be met with silence when you needed a voice to speak for you. You have felt the chilling eclipse of being misunderstood, your grand heart treated as if it were a common thing. But let me tell you something, magnificent soul. What they saw as a weakness to be exploited was in fact your divine power. And the cosmos has recorded every single act of love, every drop of generosity. Heaven has seen it all. And now the sacred shift begins. This is not a story of revenge. Oh no, Leo. This is the story of your divine restoration. If you can feel the pulse of that promise in your very bones, if your royal heart is stirring in recognition of this truth, I want you to do something for me right now. Make a sacred pact with your own rising. Press that like button, not as a simple click, but as a powerful seal upon your intention, a declaration to the cosmos that you are ready to reclaim your light. And if you know another Leo, another radiant soul, who has been navigating the cold shadows of betrayal, share this message with them. See it not as a simple forward, but as the relighting of a great torch, a beacon of power for another sovereign who needs to remember their own strength. Finally, if this journey feels like coming home, if you are ready to unlock the full spectrum of your divine power, then comment below with this sacred affirmation: I am ready to reclaim my light. Consider this a covenant between us, between your soul and the universe, a promise that we will walk this path of ascension together. By subscribing to Cosmic Wisdom, you are choosing to receive the continuous flow of guidance that will ensure you never forget the king or queen you were born to be. Are you ready, my dear Leo? Because the silence is about to break. The eclipse is ending, and the universe is preparing to show the world why one never ever tries to put out the sun. Let's begin this sacred journey together. There are wounds, my beautiful Leo, that are not of the common sort. They do not come from simple misunderstandings or fleeting conflicts. The deepest wounds, the ones that echo in the throne room of your soul, come from the ultimate violation, betrayal, a broken promise, a loyalty shattered, a grand gesture of love met with indifference, a roar of passion answered with a whisper of deceit. I know this because in my journey I have held space for countless royal souls like yours, souls whose profound radiance was being tested not by overt battles, but by the covert warfare of ingratitude and disrespect. Let me be clear, Leo, the pain inflicted upon you is not random. It is a direct consequence of your divine nature. People do not betray you because you are weak. They betray you because they are blinded by your light and deeply intimidated by the magnitude of your heart. You were born as the center of your own solar system. This is not arrogance. It is cosmic design. Ruled by the sun itself, you are the heart of the zodiac, the source of warmth, creativity, and life-giving energy. Your very presence is an act of giving. You love with your entire being, you protect fiercely, and you believe in the goodness of your kingdom. You expect the same unwavering loyalty in return, not as a transaction, but as the natural law of a loving heart. You may have asked yourself, in the quiet, lonely hours of the night, after the applause has faded, why do I give so much only to be left with so little? You may have wondered if your generosity is a flaw, if your trusting nature is a fatal form of naivety in a world that so often seems to reward the cold and calculating. But oh, my magnificent Leo, you must understand a truth that is as ancient and as powerful as the stars themselves. Your light does not cause the darkness in others, but it certainly does reveal it. Think of it this way: when the sun shines brilliantly into a forgotten room, it doesn't create the dust and shadows. It illuminates what was already there, hiding in the dim light. You, Leo, are that sun. Your warmth, your integrity, your radiant honesty forces those around you to see the parts of themselves they have left in the cold. And not everyone, my dear friend, is brave enough to face their own shadows. Souls who are living in fear, in scarcity, in jealousy, they are drawn to you like planets to a star. They crave your warmth. They want to bask in the glow of your confidence and your effortless power. They orbit you, taking your light, your energy, your love. But they have no light of their own to give in return. And when they feel the sheer power of your radiance, it reminds them of their own inner emptiness. Their fear of that emptiness, their own insecurity, can curdle into resentment. And so rather than do the sacred work of building their own fire, it feels far easier to them to try and create an eclipse, to cast a shadow over you, to make you feel small, so that they can feel momentarily powerful. Have you ever felt it? That subtle shift when someone you have showered with affection begins to subtly compete with you. Have you witnessed the person you championed and lifted up suddenly use their newfound strength to undermine you? That is the painful paradox of your light. It is meant to empower, but the unhealed will often try to weaponize that very empowerment against you. They mistake your kindness for a lack of intelligence, your open heart for a lack of boundaries. The wound you carry, Leo, is the wound of the misunderstood sovereign. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were sent here to teach the world about the courage of an open heart, about the power of unconditional generosity, and about the unbreakable nature of true loyalty. The pain you have endured is not a punishment. It is a divine initiation. Every time your trust was broken, you were not being taught to love less. You were being taught to love more wisely. You were being shown with heartbreaking clarity who is worthy of standing in the inner court of your magnificent heart and who must be loved from the distant boundaries of your kingdom. Your heart, Leo, was forged in the core of a star. It is not fragile. It has been wounded, yes, but its capacity to generate light is infinite. The universe allowed these experiences not to break you, but to teach you the sacred art of discernment. To learn that not everyone who enjoys your sunshine deserves a seat on your throne. To understand that true power is not just in how brightly you shine, but in the wisdom of where you choose to direct your most sacred rays. So let this truth settle into your soul tonight. You are not too much. You are not naive. You are not a fool for loving so grandly. You are a sun, and suns are not meant to shrink themselves. They are meant to shine. The pain was merely a cosmic lesson designed to clear your kingdom of jesters and pretenders, making way for the loyal, honorable souls who are truly capable of celebrating your light without trying to contain it. The ache you feel is the prelude to your greatest rising. You are not being dethroned, you are being purified for an even greater reign. There comes a moment, my dear Leo, when the roar of your own heart fades and you are met with a silence so profound it feels like an abandonment. The kind of silence that stretches between your cries and the seemingly empty cosmos. It's a silence that is particularly agonizing for a soul like yours, a soul that thrives on connection, on response, on the reflection of your light in the eyes of another. You've roared your pain, haven't you? You've put on the brave face, commanded the stage of your life with dignity, all the while whispering in the dark, "Universe, do you see me? Do you see the injustice? Do you see my loyalty lying shattered on the ground?" And yet, there was no immediate thunder, no swift justice, no cosmic validation, only a vast echoing silence that felt like the universe itself had turned its back on its most favored child. But what if I told you that this silence was not an absence of love, but a profound act of it? What if heaven's quiet was not neglect, but the most sacred form of preparation? Leo, you are a soul that learns through expression, through action, through radiance. You are ruled by the sun, a celestial body that is in a constant state of glorious output. For you, stillness can feel like death, but the greatest kings and queens in all the sacred stories had to endure a period of exile, a time in the wilderness, a moment of profound solitude before they could reclaim their throne with true wisdom. That is what this silence has been for you. It has been your sacred exile. When the external world falls quiet, when the applause fades, when the adoring crowds disperse, you are forced to turn inward. And it is there, in the quiet chambers of your own heart, that you are meant to discover a universe-altering truth. Your light is not dependent on who is watching. A sun does not stop shining because a planet has wandered out of orbit. A sun shines because that is its nature. Heaven's silence has been a divine invitation to stop seeking your power from the reflection in others' eyes and to find it in the eternal, self-generating furnace of your own soul. Think of the celestial dance. Your ruler, the sun, sits at the center, powerful and unwavering. It does not chase the planets. It does not beg them to stay. It simply is, and its gravitational pull, its inherent power, is what keeps the system in order. The silence you have experienced is the universe teaching you to embody this solar principle. It has been stripping away your need for external validation so that you could finally feel the unshakable gravity of your own self-worth. The Buddha once taught that the greatest peace is not found in the noise of the world, but in the profound stillness of the self. That clarity often arrives only when everything else has been stripped away. This is why the silence after a deep betrayal feels so unbearable for a Leo. In that quiet, there is nothing left to distract you from your own heart. The illusions of who you thought people were crumble. The performance of strength is no longer required. The only thing left standing is the raw, pure, and powerful truth of your own spirit. And at first, that truth can feel lonely. But stay with it, Leo. Do not rush to fill the quiet with new audiences or hollow distractions. Sit in that sovereign silence. In that space between the roar and the echo, you will begin to hear something you once mistook for emptiness, the sound of your own soul remembering its power, the sound of the cosmos speaking in a language not of words, but of pure, unwavering presence. In astrology, the fifth house, your natural cosmic home, is the house of creativity, romance, and self-expression. It is the stage of the zodiac, but your spiritual journey often takes you through its opposite, the 11th house of the collective, and through the shadows of the 12th house of solitude. Every time you have felt heaven's silence, you have been walking through these hidden realms. You are being stripped not of your light, but of your ego's attachment to how that light is received. You are learning that true faith is not about seeing your reflection everywhere. True faith is about shining brightly in the dark, knowing your own worth without needing a single witness. Have you ever noticed that after the longest, most painful silence, the most miraculous shift occurs? The person who betrayed you fades into irrelevance, their power over you dissolving as if it were never there. The opportunity you thought was lost returns bigger and brighter than before. The perfect loyal friend or lover appears as if summoned by magic. That is the moment the heavens exhale. The initiation is complete. The silence breaks not with a roar, but with the quiet, undeniable hum of divine alignment. The universe does not operate on your timeline, my magnificent soul. Divine timing is not human timing. When the cosmos seems slow, it is not punishing you. It is calibrating your destiny with the newfound wisdom of your soul. The epic love you have prayed for, the recognition you have worked for, the kingdom of peace you have longed for, all of it already exists. It was not being denied. It was being held in escrow until you could receive it, not as a validation, but as a reflection of the love and validation you finally found within yourself. So if heaven seems silent, now know that it is because your soul is being crowned. You are being taught sovereignty, not as a performance, but as a state of being. Trust that the same cosmos that designed your fiery heart is also guiding you toward your highest destiny. Trust that the silence is not the end of the show. It is the sacred intermission before the most glorious act of your life begins. Take a moment, Leo. Feel your own heartbeat. That steady, powerful rhythm. That is the drumbeat of your kingdom. That is the sound of the universe within you. When you breathe, the cosmos breathes with you. You are never unseen. You are simply being prepared for a bigger stage, a truer love, and a more authentic reign than you ever imagined possible. The silence was not the absence of the divine. It was the sound of your own coronation. There comes a point, my dear Leo, in the aftermath of betrayal when your heart, in its quest for order and justice, whispers a question into the cosmos. Will they ever understand what they did? Will there ever be a reckoning? It is not a cry for petty revenge that you seek. A soul as grand as yours is above that. Know what you crave is cosmic balance. You need to know that the universe itself recognizes the difference between the givers and the takers, between the loyal and the disloyal, between the light bearers and those who seek to create shadows. And in that quiet, aching question, the universe answers not with a clap of thunder, but with the immutable, silent law of light. Because in the grand design of the cosmos, nothing is ever lost. No act of generosity goes unrecorded. No act of betrayal is without consequence. Every single vibration we send out into the world, whether it is born of a radiant heart or a cold intention, ripples through the very fabric of existence, and by cosmic law must return to its source. Energy is a boomerang. Light travels until it illuminates, and shadows travel until they meet the soul that cast them. So when someone dims your shine, betrays your trust, and walks away as if they have gotten away with it, do not for one moment mistake the silence of the heavens for indifference. Divine justice for a soul of fire is not loud and chaotic. It is precise, patient, and profound. It waits until the time is right, until the heart of the other is ready to truly understand the lesson. For karma is not a punishment from an angry God. It is the most patient and compassionate teacher, writing its lessons in the language of direct experience. Have you ever witnessed it? How a person who built their success on a lie eventually sees their world crumble, not from an outside force, but from the inherent instability of their own creation. How the one who mocked your open heart later finds themselves in a desolate world of superficial connections, desperately craving the authentic warmth they once took for granted. That, my beautiful Leo, is not a coincidence. That is the law of light and shadow in motion. The same force that holds the sun at the center of the solar system also ensures that every soul must eventually face the consequences of turning their back on the light. In the grand cosmic council, the planet Saturn is the great keeper of this sacred law. Its slow, deliberate orbit through the zodiac symbolizes time itself, patient, watchful, and meticulously fair. Saturn does not punish. It restores harmony. It holds a celestial ledger where every debt of loyalty and every act of betrayal is recorded in starlight. And when the astrological hour strikes, those pages turn. The one who misused your trust will find themselves in a situation where they are unable to trust anyone. The one who used your generosity to get ahead will find themselves in a state of perpetual lack, no matter their material wealth. The one who betrayed your magnificent love will taste the profound ache of being unseen and unloved for who they truly are. And you, my dear Leo, do not have to lift a single finger. You do not have to roar in anger or demand an apology. The universe is already doing the work for you. Because when your heart remains open and radiant, even in the face of pain, the cosmos moves to protect its own. Just as the sun naturally burns away fog and shadow, your continued existence in your truth is what activates this divine rebalancing. You may not see their karma unfold immediately, and that is a sacred mercy. The universe waits until your heart no longer craves to be a witness. Because if you were to watch their lesson unfold too soon, it might awaken a sense of pride or vengeance within you, and that would keep you tethered to their low vibration. Heaven does not wish for you to watch others fall. It wishes for you to be so busy rising that you no longer even notice. Your ruler, the sun, shines on everyone, the grateful and the ungrateful alike. This teaches a profound lesson. Some souls act from their own inner darkness, from the chilling voids of their unhealed wounds. Karma, in its infinite intelligence, does not seek to destroy them. It simply recreates the energetic conditions they created for you over and over until they finally truly understand the chill of the darkness they inflicted. So when you find yourself remembering the face of the one who hurt you, I invite you to perform a sacred act of alchemy. Whisper not, "May they suffer," but rather, "May they awaken." That is the true power of the sovereign heart. To turn a wound into a prayer and a prayer into a beacon of light. Because when you forgive not because they deserve it, but because your own soul deserves peace, you majestically remove yourself from their karmic cycle. Their story may continue in the shadows, but your new chapter begins in the sun. You see, karma does not require your supervision, but your ascension does. The real justice is not that they finally feel the pain they caused you. The real justice is that you no longer feel it at all. The very moment you can remember what happened and still feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the moment you can breathe without the clench of bitterness in your chest, that is the moment heaven has already balanced the scales for you within you. Take a deep breath now, Leo. Inhale your own radiant power. Exhale the heavy weight of needing to see justice done. You were never meant to be the record keeper of wrongs. The universe has a perfect memory. The cosmic winds of Saturn and the unwavering light of the sun are already at work, rearranging the board, healing the timelines, and restoring balance to all that was thrown into chaos. When heaven rebalances the scales, it doesn't always send a storm. Sometimes it just removes the clouds from your sky. One day, they will sit in the quiet of their own heart and feel the echo of what they lost. Not because you wished it upon them, but because their own soul is finally ready to face its reflection. In that moment of silent, aching regret, their true reckoning will occur. Forgiveness, though, does not mean you condone what happened. It is a sovereign declaration that you trust the cosmic process enough to let go of the reins. When you release your attachment to a specific outcome, you open the gates for divine grace to flood your own life. As the Buddha taught, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. So set it down My magnificent king, my glorious queen, let the fire of your own soul illuminate your path forward, not burn down the past. Your warmth is not naive, it is your superpower. It is the very thing that allows you to walk away from a battlefield with your head held high and your heart still open. And when you do that, the universe accelerates its blessings upon you, because the cosmos cannot pour a new kingdom into hands that are still clenched around old grievances. Let them go. Let the law of light do its silent, perfect work. You have a destiny to fulfill, a throne to occupy, and a brilliant light to share with a world that so desperately needs it. There is a moment, my beautiful Leo, when every roar feels like it has been swallowed by the void, when every grand gesture of strength has left you weary, when you have stood on the stage of your life, given the performance of a lifetime, and the curtains fall to an empty house. You stand there, heart aching, exhausted, and on the verge of believing that perhaps your light isn't enough. You have been strong, you have been brave, and you have done everything you knew how to do, and still the kingdom feels empty. But what if this is not an ending? What if this profound exhaustion, this hollow space you fear, is the very throne room where the divine is waiting to begin its most sacred work, Leo? Divine intervention never bursts onto the stage while you are still performing. It arrives in the sacred silence after the final bow, when your human strength has reached its absolute limit. It is in the moment the king or queen finally lays down their heavy armor, surrenders the need to fight every battle, and whispers to the heavens, "I can do no more. I surrender." That my magnificent soul is not an act of defeat. It is the most powerful decree your spirit can make. It is the key that unlocks the gates of heaven. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, often waits for this moment of supreme surrender. Because as long as you are trying to control the script, to direct the actors, to force the outcome, the divine flow cannot enter. But once your hands loosen, once you release your grip on how the story should go and open yourself to the story that is written in the stars for you, the entire cosmic current realigns itself in your favor. This is the sacred rhythm of your journey. Your ruling star, the sun, represents the ego in its most glorious form, the I Am presence. But your deepest spiritual evolution comes from learning to surrender that powerful ego to a higher divine will. This is a profound challenge for a soul born to rule. But when a Leo learns this lesson, they don't just become powerful, they become unstoppable. A transformation begins not on the outside at first, but deep within the core of your being. It doesn't announce itself with a trumpet blast. It begins quietly with a softening around your heart, a slowing of the racing thoughts, a profound peace that descends upon you for no logical reason. You may wake up one morning and realize with a sudden clarity that the opinions of those who betrayed you are now utterly irrelevant. The ache in your heart has not just healed, it has been alchemized into a deeper wisdom. The tears you once shed in anger now feel like a sacred cleansing. That, my dear Leo, is the moment the divine steps in. Not from above, but from within. You see, divine intervention for you is not about being rescued. You are no damsel in distress. It is about a profound awakening that happens through you. It's not a voice from the clouds. It is the quiet, unshakable certainty in your own soul that whispers, "Be still. Your reign is assured." When all your human strategies fail, the divine strategy begins to reveal itself. Perhaps you were pushed off a stage you thought you owned, only to find that you were being guided to a much grander kingdom. Perhaps you were rejected by a love you thought was your destiny, only for the universe to clear the path for your true divine counterpart, your soul's moon, who reflects your light perfectly. Perhaps a door was slammed in your royal face, but that closed door was not a punishment. It was divine protection. It was the universe guarding your throne room from those not worthy to enter. Take a moment right now. Remember one time in your life when something broke your heart, but in retrospect set you free. That was not a coincidence. That was the hand of the cosmos at work, quiet, invisible, but absolutely precise. The reason divine timing can feel agonizingly late for a Leo is because it moves according to your spiritual readiness, not your impatient desire. The universe does not deliver your kingdom when you demand it. It delivers it when you are ready to rule it with wisdom, grace, and a heart free from the need for external applause. When you finally stop roaring, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking with humble authority, "What is this preparing me for?" that is when heaven declares, "Now you are ready." Leo, you are the sign of glorious creative life force. Your power doesn't come from struggling against the current. It comes from becoming the current. When you yield your personal will to the divine, will life itself rushes to support you. The same stage that once felt empty now becomes the platform for your greatest purpose. The same pain that once threatened to extinguish your fire now becomes the fuel for your most brilliant radiance. This is the profound transformation that opens the door for divine energy to not just visit, but to take up permanent residence within you. And when it does, your entire reality shifts. The heaviness lifts. Your mind becomes clear and decisive. Your perspective expands. You begin to see, with the wisdom of a true sovereign, that the people who hurt you were not your enemies. They were your most powerful, albeit unwitting teachers. The losses were not failures, they were sacred alignments. Every single tear watered the seeds of compassion and wisdom that are now blossoming into your crown. That is when you finally realize the divine never comes to you. The divine has always been you. You were simply too busy performing, too busy seeking validation, too busy trying to control the kingdom, to feel the royalty that was already encoded in your soul. When the divine takes its throne within you, it doesn't just fix your old life. It dissolves it and builds you a new, more magnificent kingdom. You stop chasing love because you become a magnetic force of love. You stop seeking validation because you are validation. And that sovereign radiance draws your true tribe, your true purpose, and your true abundance to you with effortless grace. Take a slow, deep breath, Leo. You have reached that sacred threshold between utter exhaustion and divine grace, where the warrior finally lays down the sword and the king or queen finally accepts the crown. The light you once begged the world to see is now rising from within your own chest, undeniable and self-sustaining. Can you feel it? That quiet, powerful warmth that no longer depends on who stays, who leaves, who claps, or who jeers ours. That calm, regal knowing that whatever falls away now is simply making space for what is divinely, rightfully, and eternally yours. That is what it means when the divine steps in. It is not drama, it is peace. It is the quiet, internal shift that turns a performer into a sovereign, wounds into wisdom, and a lonely stage into a thriving kingdom. From this moment forward, trust every closed door, every delay, every sacred silence. Trust that it is all part of a divine coronation. The same power that holds the sun in the sky is holding your life in its hands, turning everything toward the light. When you look back, you will see with perfect clarity that what felt like abandonment was the beginning of the most profound divine embrace. Every breakdown was a breakthrough. Every loss was a preparation for your true coronation. So if today you feel like you are at the end of your strength, remember this, my magnificent Leo. This is the sacred pause before your rebirth. The universe is not against you, it is aligning through you. You no longer need to roar to be heard. The divine is already breathing through you, waiting only for your stillness to finally recognize its presence. There comes a day, my beautiful Leo, when the storm no longer impresses you. The same cruel words that once felt like daggers against your royal heart now pass through you like a breeze through the vast chambers of your castle. You do not engage in the battle anymore. You do not feel the need to explain your light, to justify your warmth, or to prove your worth to anyone. You no longer wish for a single soul to witness what you have endured because you and the heavens have seen it all. And that inner knowing, that quiet, unshakable self-awareness has become your crown. You have walked through the valley of betrayal and misunderstanding. You have weathered the chilling silence of cosmic exile. You have looked into the hollow eyes of disloyalty and roared back, not with anger, but with the radical choice to keep your own magnificent heart wide open. And because of that choice, that supreme act of courage and faith, the universe has rewritten your destiny, not as a story of revenge, but as a glorious epic of redemption. Leo, you were never ever meant to remain a wounded king or a heartbroken queen. You were destined to rise softly, majestically, and with a brilliance that is unmistakable as living proof that divine justice doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it arrives as a serene and perfect dawn. As the planets move through their eternal cycles of shadow and light, they mirror your sacred journey. Saturn, the great teacher, has ensured that every lesson of discernment and self-worth has been integrated into your soul. And Jupiter, the planet of expansion and grace, has been waiting patiently for this very moment. The moment your heart is healed, enough wise enough, and sovereign enough to receive the boundless blessings it has in store for you. The universe has not forgotten a single act of your generosity. It has been collecting them like starlight, waiting for the perfect moment to forge them into your new scepter. And that moment, my dear Leo, is now. The rise of the sovereign sun is not a loud, dramatic event that demands an audience. It happens with the quiet, inexorable power of spring returning after a long, hard winter. One morning you will wake up and simply feel peace where the ache of betrayal used to live. You will realize that you can think of the past without the fire of anger burning in your chest. You can look upon those who hurt you not with rage or pity, but with a detached, regal neutrality. That, my friend, is redemption. Not that they have changed, but that you no longer require them to in order to be whole. In this sacred, final stage of your alchemical transformation, you are no longer asking the universe for justice. You are the living embodiment of it. Because the highest justice of the cosmos is not found in witnessing the downfall of others. It is found in the glorious spectacle of your own rising. You have become the very lesson that karma was trying to teach. You now understand that forgiveness is not for them. It is the act of reclaiming your own power. You have learned that true strength is not in the volume of your roar, but in the quiet confidence of your presence. You have mastered the art of loving grandly while maintaining sacred boundaries, understanding that sometimes the most loving act is to walk away and wish someone well from a distance. When you no longer need to prove your royalty, the universe crowns you with a serenity so profound that it becomes your new source of power. You become the calm, warm presence that others seek in their own storms. You speak less, but your words carry the weight of true authority. You give, but never from a place of depletion, because you have learned to drink first from your own well of self-love. You lead not by demand, but by radiant example. This is the great rebirth of the Leo soul, not the performer who craves the spotlight, but the sovereign sun who has become the light. Take a moment now, Leo. Breathe softly and deeply. Feel the steady, powerful rhythm of your own heart. That is the rhythm of the cosmos itself, the beat of creation pulsing through you. You are no longer separate from the divine. The unconditional love and validation you once sought from the world is now flowing from you through your every glance, your every word, your every act of wise generosity. Do you finally see, my magnificent soul, the universe didn't punish you, it purified you. Every tear was a holy water, washing away your naivety. Every betrayal was a sacred test of your character. Every moment of silence was a divine hand reshaping your crown, fortifying it with wisdom and compassion. The divine did not come to rescue you from your pain. It came to resurrect the true sovereign through it. You are no longer the wounded lion. You are the healer who carries the wisdom of every scar. Your empathy is no longer a vulnerability. It is a tool of precise discernment. You can hold space for others without losing yourself in their drama. You can love with the fullness of your heart without losing your balance, your throne, yourself. You have become a vessel of the very divine light that guided you through the darkness. And as your own inner energy has shifted, so too does your external kingdom. Doors you once had to force now swing open effortlessly. Opportunities align as if by magic. A true and loyal love, your soul's perfect counterpart, arrives not because you chased it, but because your sovereign vibration called it home. Abundance flows to you not as a reward, but as the natural state of a well-ruled, joyful kingdom. You no longer need to force your blessings. You attract them simply by being the radiant, authentic, powerful being you were always meant to be. This is not luck, Leo. This is divine restoration. The karmic wheel that once felt like it was crushing you now turns majestically in your favor because your heart no longer resists the profound lessons it was taught. The planets themselves bow to a consciousness that has awakened. And your consciousness, my dear Leo, is blazing with the light of 1,000 suns. You have become a living testament to spiritual sovereignty, a glorious reminder that the universe always restores what is noble and true. Your pain was never meaningless. It was your coronation ceremony. Through it, you have stepped into the most sacred role a soul can hold, that of a conscious creator, a benevolent ruler, a witness to divine grace. Now, when others ask you how you survived the betrayals, you can answer with a gentle smile, I did not survive. I was reborn. And when they ask if you still believe in love after having your heart broken, your very presence, warm, radiant, and whole, will be the only answer they need. You are the evidence. You are the miracle. Your story, my magnificent Leo, does not end with the pain of the past. It ends in the peace of your present and the limitless potential of your future. From this moment on, everything that once felt like a loss is revealed to be divine guidance. Every person who left was simply clearing the throne room. Every failure was a hidden doorway to a grander destiny. And through your example, others will begin to believe in their own light again. So rise now, sovereign soul. Rise not with a roar of anger, but with the quiet, confident radiance of the dawn. Rise not to prove your worth to anyone, but to bless the world with your presence. Rise not to be seen, but to see with the eyes of wisdom and love. The heavens are moving through you now, through your quiet strength, through your wise forgiveness, through the glorious warmth of the heart that survived the fire. Take this as your final breath of this sacred journey with me. Inhale your sovereignty. Exhale the last remnants of the past. The lesson is complete. The initiation is over. The circle is closed. What remains is your reign. My dear Leo friends, we have reached the end of our sacred journey together for today, but it is truly just the beginning of your new reign. Pause and feel the power of what has transpired here. This has been more than just a message. It has been a profound activation of your soul's highest, most radiant truth. Embrace it. Surrender to the magnificent magic of your own transformation. This is your time to shine your brightest, to share your unparalleled gifts with the world, and to build the beautiful, joyful kingdom you were always destined to rule. I would be honored to hear from you. What part of this message ignited the fire in your soul? What truth has been awakened within you today? Share your insights, your feelings, your declarations in the comments section below. By sharing our stories of rising, we create a powerful pride of souls who support and empower one another. Let's make this a sanctuary of sovereign light. And of course, if you have not already done so, please honor your journey by subscribing to Cosmic Wisdom. Stay connected to the guidance that will continue to illuminate your path. We have so much more to explore together. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for allowing me to hold a mirror to your magnificence. It has been a true gift to share this sacred space with you. I wish you an abundance of joy, a profound sense of peace, and the unwavering success that is your divine birthright. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. You are the sovereign sun. Go forth and be brilliant.